Honestly, industry just keeps getting better every single week. And Season 4, Episode 4 might be one of the most intense episodes the show has delivered so far. This episode had paranoia, power plays, emotional collapse, and one of the darkest endings the series has ever done. Let's break it down. The episode opens and closes with Jim, following the fallout from the Finn Digest article he published accusing Tender of fraudulent behavior. From the very beginning, Jim is clearly unraveling. He feels like he's being watched outside his home, and while that paranoia seems extreme at first, it turns out he's absolutely right, just not in the way he expects. During Henry's keynote speech for Tender's new banking app, Jim publicly confronts him, asking about hidden operations in Africa and a man in Sunderland allegedly processing transactions tied to industries Tender claimed to distance itself from. That moment seals Jim's fate. He's crossed a line too publicly and too recklessly. From there, everything collapses at once. Whitney has both Jim and Harper followed. Jim is accused of assault by Haley, caught using substances, and the paper he works for is accused of colluding with short sellers. Ed has no choice but to fire him, which completely destroys Jim's credibility. Any expose he publishes now would be dismissed as the ranting of a disgraced journalist. After losing everything, Jim spirals, and that's when he ends up at the pub with Rishi. Rishi is also at rock bottom. He's grieving the loss of his child, whose name is being changed, and feels like he has nothing left to live for. His fixation on the window makes it clear that he's considering whether life is even worth continuing. At the pub, Jim is offered a substance that's implied to be poison, but a stranger intervenes. That same stranger later ends up back at Rishi's flat with them. This turns out to be no coincidence. The stranger is part of Whitney's plan and has been watching Jim all along. As Jim and Rishi talk about their failures, the stranger slowly turns the music louder and louder until the police are called. When Rishi goes to the bathroom and the stranger leaves to get drinks, Jim is killed. Whether he was forced or poisoned doesn't really matter. The entire night was orchestrated to end with Jim dead. When Rishi comes out and finds Jim's body, the police are already at the door. He's left with a choice: face arrest or jump. Him jumping isn't about escape. It's about preferring death over sitting alone with his guilt. He survives, breaking his feet, and is arrested in a flat full of drugs with a dead body on the floor. It's the worst possible outcome. Meanwhile, Yasmin continues her rise to power. She's promoted to head of communications and fires Robin, proving she's finally gained the control she's always wanted. But her relationship with Haley is becoming unsettling. What Yaz thought was harmless fun is clearly turning into obsession, and it feels like she may have underestimated how dangerous that situation could become. Whitney, on the other hand, is quietly setting himself up for a massive downfall. While Henry gives speeches about integrity and sincerity, Whitney is committing fraud behind the scenes and manipulating everyone around him. With Sweet Pea starting to dig into his past, it feels like his time is running out. Overall, this episode was relentless. Jim's downfall was tragic but inevitable. The final scene was pure tension, and the show continues to prove why it's one of the smartest dramas on TV right now. Bring on the next episode.